Hello everyone, welcome to the Crafty Maven Getaway for Sketch It Out Thursday. I'm Desiree's Tell here on YouTube, and this is a sketch that I'm going to be using by the amazing Laura Whitaker. And the photograph I'm going to be working on today is of my husband and son, and they went on a hiking trail while I was with my daughter at a birthday party to watch Beauty and the Beast. So my husband took my son out so that way he had something to do for the day. And the collection that I'm going to be using is by Little Yellow Bicycle called Fern Forest, and I don't think they're around anymore, but this collection could have gone either a toddler or, in this case, an older boy. And so what I noticed is that I had already cut it and played with this collection before, and there wasn't a whole lot to it. So I kind of just cut an odd angle out of that leftover star paper, so that way I had a nice crisp cut left. And then I'm going to cut it again, so where I had one piece of the triangle, which I'm going to try to incorporate, thinking maybe I won't use the strip that I had cut in half to hide behind that other orange striped paper. But I decided to go ahead and continue on with the sketch. Now, I'm going to go ahead and mat some of the paper with other papers from that collection as well. And I'm going to have to say, as I'm working or talking to you about this, you ever have those papers? Actually, wait, hold on, hold that thought. That's border paper that you see. I noticed because I didn't have any ephemera to this collection, I kind of created my own using that one border strip that had these circle elements in it. And I really like the look of it, of how it turned out, because it added great layering pieces. I also went back into my stash and just kind of really stash dived. And anybody remember paper clips? They still make them. I just don't ever use them, and I bought up more of the star ones and the arrows, and when I stopped buying them because I realized I just wasn't using them, and it ended up working so nicely with this layout. And that's one thing that I was kind of going back to, is you ever have those layouts where you struggle working with ephemera, and then all of a sudden you have the layout that just everything kind of goes together. This was that layout, and I love the results of it. So I made my own little ephemera, like I said, cutting out those circle elements. Then I went to the Cool Kid collection by Crepe Paper, and I found this ticket that said Fun Times. And so I cut it in half and tucked that underneath the photo. And then I had this basic gray sticker sheet. So I had incorporated different sticker sheets because the one that came in this collection that you see right here was just a lot of phrase stickers, and so it was more of the same shape, and I really needed something to add different shapes to the layout to create the layered look. So I did find this one that said hit play, and I'm going to go ahead and pop that up with some foam dot just to add a little bit of dimension to it. And then while I tried the fabric banner that you saw earlier, which was a little too much, I ended up going back to this sticker sheet here. And the sketch did call for a tag, and I used my Tim Holtz die cut set to cut out a tag and tuck that in. It's going to be a little bit too long, so I'm just going to snip off the end, and I'm going to save that end piece because I'm going to use it. It is so funny. I had so many ideas for all these little its and bits of scrap papers that I was creating for this layout, and ended up using most of them. And you'll see that here in a minute. So then I added some baker's twine just to layer that up underneath the photo, or not to layer up the photo, to tie that tag all together. And then when I go back to the sticker sheet, I found this one that said discover, and I thought it was the perfect word for them on a hiking trail, because that's basically what they did. I was not there, but my husband did tell me the story, so I'm not going to have too much to say on this layout, except for while they were hiking, they crossed a path of a rattlesnake. And then just a regular snake that my son almost stepped on. Thank goodness it was not a rattlesnake. I thought that was going to scare him from like ever doing another hike again, but nope, him and his dad have taken other hikes since then. So I'm glad that didn't scare him too much. But it definitely, he was taught a lesson on what to look for, and just definitely prepare when you come across snakes. Next, I'm just kind of going through the sticker sheet. I'm really trying to stash bust this collection. It's what I've been kind of doing lately, and I'm finding myself really enjoying it, of just taking collections that I don't have a whole lot to and seeing how much I could use on a layout without making it look, I don't want to say cluttered, But if you know my style, I could go both ways. I could layer up a ton like I'm doing so right now, but it has a very clean look to it without making it look too busy, or I could go where I hardly layer anything at all, but it still has that very crisp, clean look to it with just a few elements to the layout. So like I said, I was using up every little bit of scratch paper that I had made, and I took that one that was the leftover from the tag, and I just grabbed my star punch. I haven't used those things in a long time, and I noticed that people are starting to use punches again, and I really am so glad that I kept the ones that I've ever purchased. So I just create some more stars to also go and tie in with the star paper clip. And just, again, I'm layering things up and trying to create a visual triangle. Now I'm going to create that visual triangle by adding some at the bottom. However, not every single piece that is in each of my clusters is going to make it to the bottom, and you'll see that here in a minute. I didn't even put the star on the right hand side. I tried to. So here it is. Like I said, that leftover piece where I created those circle elements, and I thought, what if I cut this in a strip and make that in the bottom? And this is where I kind of got an idea of what I could do at the bottom. It ended up being too thin, but I just was trying to, and I knew it was going to be too small. However, I just wanted to see the look and see if I liked that look, and I end up really liking it. And you're going to see me go back to that here in a minute. So here's my title. I never make you guys watch me adhere all that, because I definitely use some tacky glue to adhere that down. These are just faux cork pieces. They're actually chipboard, and the title is Hitting the Trails. And then the tile stickers that I used are from Studio Calico. Now here's another piece of from this collection. They were journaling cards, and I thought about housing my journal right there. So I'm just trying to audition different journaling cards to it, but I started feeling like it was a little too cluttered and not keeping the clean look that I was going for. All right, so here's that strip of paper that I had from something, and I am going to take a piece of that and I'm going to run that down at the bottom, and then I'm going to tie in another one of those circle cut pieces that I cut out from that border strip of paper and made my own embellishments, and I'm going to use that at the bottom. So I'm just going to adhere that, cut that down of whatever's hanging over the 12 by 12 paper, and call that good. Now that one strip that you do see right there, I actually tried to audition that in several areas. I cut that part out. Now here I think I'm done, right? And now one thing that I love about being ahead of the schedule for any of my design team commitments is that I can walk away, which I rarely get to do that, walk away from it and a couple days later go back. And so I gave it a couple days rest. I didn't look at the layout, and then when I went back to it, I just started thinking like, what else could I add to it? So I went to bed that night and thought about brads. I don't use brads very often, and I have a ton of them in my stash, and I love the element that it brings to the layout. It's just different texture. I like that it's metal, and it ties in with the paper clip that's metal, and I really, really love the look of it, and I need to start doing it more, because every time I do use my brads, especially the decorative ones, I end up liking the final look of it. So here I am just kind of playing with them on seeing which ones I want to use, and I end up using, I think, one from, maybe one or two of them from Basic Gray. I end up only using two, and actually I take that back. One of them is going to be from Simple Stories, where it's just a flat back. I had to add some additional double-sided red sticky tape to it in order for it to adhere. So that does have concern for me, because I'm hoping eventually it doesn't ever fall off the page. So I know some people love that. However, I like the old school additional one where you put a hole in it and you put the prongs through and then press it in the back, and that way I know it is secure and it is definitely not going anywhere. I do add some tape to it on the back so that way it doesn't poke the next layout that it will go behind it. And this tape I just got from Studio Calico. I've never used it. It's not even washi tape. It's like I want to say like mask tape. So I always use that tape to stick on the back, because I know it's not going anywhere. Next I grabbed my Tim Holtz stapler, and I'm going to staple that up. And I'm going to call this layout done, and thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this layout. Please give me a thumbs up, and if you like my style, be sure to head over to my channel and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future layouts. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.